From doctors who write prescriptions to themselves to nurses who steal medicine meant for patients, drug diversion is a huge problem for the medical community. Our national investigative team uncovered hundreds of examples of medical providers disciplined for pushing pills in the wrong direction. Joyce Sturman digs into how they slip through the cracks in Diverted.
I work for them. I was proud to have worked for them.
You think of it as top-notch health care?
Absolutely.
When Sori Ellis-Henry and her husband decided to expand their family, Yale seemed like a no-brainer to help them become mom and dad once again.
So this was our name bands, and we went to the clinic, the medicine that I had to take shots.
After enduring the grueling early stages of fertility treatment, the couple was filled with hope on Retrieval Day, where physicians surgically remove mature eggs from the ovaries for fertilization. The procedure is typically done while women are awake and is supposed to bring little to no pain.
Something was clearly wrong.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad was the pain?
It was over a 10. It was horrific.
The reason? Court records show that for months in 2020, a nurse at the clinic she visited had been secretly stealing fentanyl from the medical supply, draining the drug vials for her own use, refilling them with saline and putting them back on the shelf. So instead of getting a potent painkiller during their procedures, at least 95 patients got salt water.
I was shocked. I was relieved to know what happened, and then the anger kicked in.
It's called diversion, where medical professionals channel medications away from their intended legitimate purpose for illegal use or distribution. Our national investigative team found dentists, nurses, and doctors of all kinds doing it across the country. We looked at disciplinary records for regulatory boards nationwide dating back to 2018. We found nearly 300 medical professionals who've been punished for diversion.
When you start putting letters before and after somebody's name, they're looked at differently.
Ian Icavello knows. He worked on an FBI task force investigating diversion cases and healthcare fraud. We took him dozens of egregious examples we found in disciplinary records. They include a doctor getting his partners to sign blank prescriptions so he could stockpile hundreds of pain pills for himself. A dentist who wrote prescriptions for sedation drugs for dozens of patients she never saw. Another who ordered thousands of Xanax through a dental distributor to fuel his own habit. And nurses who took home opioids that went unused during their shift, gave themselves morphine injections, took drugs from needles in the sharps container, and even used pills meant for patients, claiming they'd been given when the person complained of pain.
In some cases, diverters were snagged by a prescription paper trail. Others were caught on camera or flagged when automated medication machines in many medical settings had records that didn't add up. But in many diversion cases, they come to an end simply because somebody opened their mouth.
When something isn't right, there is a good chance that, frankly, we can even go back to an elementary school principal. Somebody's going to tattle.
In one of Eduardo Chavez's biggest cases, somebody did, busting open a massive diversion case in Texas.
Getting this medicine up in there now.
Our national investigative team got exclusive access to the wiretaps and undercover footage used in the DEA's Operation Wasted Days. The sting captured a network of recruits on video, part of a multi-million-dollar pill mill run by two doctors writing prescriptions for controlled substances for cash, with pharmacies in on the scam helping divert drugs for resale on the street.
In essence, the process was as insulated as it could be.
Although the DEA does both random and scheduled audits of prescribing habits, the agency has to keep an eye on hundreds of thousands of registered prescribers nationwide, with the vast majority playing by the rules.
Unless somebody steps out of that closed environment and says, I think you all need to hear this, there's really nobody.
This is a proud daddy holding his baby.
In Sori Ellis-Henry's case, instead of cries of agony from patient after patient, it was somebody who noticed a loose cap on a fentanyl bottle that put a stop to diversion at the Yale clinic.
It broke my trust in the healthcare system. I just didn't understand, even as a nurse, and how that could have happened.
Now, since discovering the diversion, a Yale representative says new measures have been instituted to ensure its clinics have the most rigorous processes, procedures, and safeguards in place. The university recently settled a lawsuit brought by victims at its fertility clinic. The nurse involved pleaded guilty and surrendered her license.